Okay, part 4. I tell y'all to be honest with your children about your childhood for a specific reason. You've been where they are. You may have had it better. You may have had it worse. But the whole point of being grown and having children is so that your kid can have the life that you wanted for yourself. You know, I don't have children. I've had a horrible ass life. I've had good moments in my life, but I can honestly say if I put my life in my hands and had good over here, bad would be on the floor. Alright? But I'm honest about it. I was talking about my childhood bullying. So I'm going to tell you the subjects I've been bullied about. All the way to college. First thing I was bullied about was my race. Because no one really knew what I was. I always thought I was black. And when my mom came to school, people started pointing out subtle differences. Then as I got into 5th grade and found out that because my ancestors are part Native American, that makes me part Native American. That was one of the main things in grade school that I had an argument about. Being called a nigger or being called a half-breed. Alright? That was pretty much it. Nobody physically threatened me outside of a couple of times where we got to fighting. And then there was a race war. Hey, no side wanted me, so that kind of was a win-win depending on how you want to look at that. The black side didn't trust me because my mom looked white. The white side didn't trust me because my skin is brown. So I lost a lot of white friends and a lot of black friends until we got back into like a suitable school setting, which was middle school. Now middle school, shit hit the fan with race. People thought I was gay. Girls wouldn't give me a second look, so people would assume I was gay. People would pick on me at how much pussy they're getting and I'm not. And they picked on me on the one thing that has saved my life time and time and time again. Kung Fu. Which is why they wouldn't fight me, because they wasn't sure if I really knew the shit or if they weren't really wanting to be the guy who, oh, well, he knew the shit and he beat my ass. The other thing that they picked on me about was my comic books. Because of my lack of friends and my slow reading, comic books was my escape. Wolverine and the X-Men have always been my friends. Spider-Man, well, hell, I've lived his life except for the part that I'm not very smart. Right? I have enough common sense. I'm a common sense genius. No. But when it comes to like book sense, I'm just below mediocre. I got enough sense that if I read it enough times, eventually I will get it. Or my processes don't fire off and connect the dots. My comprehension works most times, and sometimes it doesn't. However, there's a logical reason for that. I've had a few concussions before the 6th grade. Alright, so that being said, we don't want our children to know our shady past. But in a sense of clarity and fairness, how can you judge your child if they're guilty of the exact same shit that you did as a child, but you're too shamed or scared to tell them? This is the shit that leads to school violence. This is the shit that leads to gun violence in school, because people aren't honest. People don't want to tell their kids, well, son, there was this little guy in school named James Williams Jr. I bullied that fucking kid to no end. Okay? Is that the right thing to do? No, it is not, because that guy that I bullied is now my fucking boss. And in turn, for you to have that nice hat, and that nice clothes, and that nice roof over your head, I have to kiss his ass on a daily basis to make sure that we still have work. Because he could be a child and remember all the things that I did to him back in school and fire me just for the fuck of firing me. Because a lot of people who are bullied do become your boss, and you will have to answer to somebody on some level or another. But we as adults are way too scared to tell kids the truth. Here's the thing. Thank you, Dad. Both of them, but mostly my bio dad, James Williams Sr., for telling me, look, son, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never had to ask my dad about his childhood, because he straight up told me this is how it was. I went as far as the 8th grade and never went back. I started working in the 8th grade, and from then on, I worked my ass off until I met your mother, fucked up and had 2 kids. He didn't say that, but I'm saying it. And then, from then on, we got a divorce, and life has just had its wavy motions. But he said, before he passed, he didn't have the best of life. But he had wanted for me to have a better life than the one he had. Which is why he took different jobs where he could go where the money was at. He didn't have a good reading vocabulary. You know, he didn't have the best of reading skills. But back then, you know, when you are of color, good luck. You know, let's be honest. A lot of people of color, and specifically men, got paid for either a trade skill that they could do where there was no reading required, and some people are just good at putting shit together without reading. They just take a good look at it, look at the box, see what it's supposed to look like, bing, 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 they're done. And some of those people can't read a fucking lick. But the male ratio of reading ethnically, let me try to reword that. Ethnicity wise, the male reading of racial people who have the most lack of reading, systemically, in probably this order: blacks are at the bottom, Native Americans are in the middle, Asians and whites are running in a smooth tie for the top. And by Native Americans being Asian, they have been like fucked over in reading English language plus their language, so that's probably why they're right there in the cusp. But as far as the whites and the normal Asians, as in Asians from China and stuff like that, are economically more advanced in the reading department, is because their country was focused on making sure that if we're not the richest, we're damn sure going to be the smartest. Blacks, we never had a fighting chance. We weren't allowed to read until we got civil rights. And then when we got civil rights, we weren't even allowed to vote. So being able to read was like a double fuck. Why did I bring this up during that? Because I'm going to explain that to you on why we should tell our children the truth. I was bullied as a child. My dad never said if he was bullied as a child or if he did the bullying. But I know that when I did cross that line into bullying, my dad jumped down my throat. And I never went back to being with the in crowd. I started fighting for things that I believed was right. Whether they're morally right or just right, I started doing that shit. So morally right, comic books kept me out of a lot of fucking trouble. Look at the world now. Everybody's into comic book movies and shit. And those people who always picked on me about comic books and movies are probably the first people flocking to the theater to get their tickets. So this is why James was into those books. Yeah, because in that world, I'm not some piece of half-breed shit. I'm a being where I can have superpowers, and I don't have to make people bow down to my feet, but they already respect me for what I can do, and they're not living in fear. X-Men is the most racist-related comic book that you can read, because they had multi-diversity team members. They had a Native American, a couple of them. They had people of color in general, from different aspects of the world. And it wasn't just all about white people. It wasn't all about people who was basically about races. It was homed in prejudice, but it wasn't racist. You understand where that's going? Same thing with like DC Comics. I'm more Marvel than DC, although DC, I owe them for being able to learn how to read off the comic book Jonah Hex. I started reading it when I was 3. I stopped reading it when I discovered Spider-Man. I stopped reading Spider-Man when I discovered the X-Men. I never stopped reading the X-Men until 2010, but I also picked up Guardians of the Galaxy and things like that. Now, I know you're all thinking, you're way off base, James. What does it have to do with anything? Bringing it back around right now, because you probably haven't been paying attention. I brought these up because, in case you missed it, we were on things I was bullied for in middle school. Comic books, lack of pussy, short, and above all else, half-breed. Right? So you would think that that would end in middle school. Transferred over to high school. Same shit. Different building. And you know the funny thing about that? I've had teachers who said nothing because they were afraid to. And I've had teachers who said nothing just because they didn't give a shit. My high school mathematics teacher, first time when I was getting bullied in there, he wasn't much bigger than me. And the guy who was bullying me was 6'5". And he smacked everybody's heads every day. And the teacher never said anything, generally because of the natural stereotypical fear of a black person from a white person, pretty much prevented that shit from happening. He didn't know what to do. He was too scared, and I respect that guy. You know, because when you scared, you scared. Just admit that you were scared. Never be afraid to admit when you're afraid. So, kid would run down the hall, then with an aisle, and be. I got tired of it. So one day, I did this. Because I was the closest to the chalkboard. And when I ducked and he swung with all his might, he crashed into the chalkboard. That shit stopped. Simple as that. Sometimes you have to stop your bully. Now that bully and another bully had me in another class. Again, the teacher was too scared to do anything because she was an old woman. Boys will be boys, so she didn't do anything. However, they threatened my life. One of them actually went out and committed murder. I hope he never gets the fuck out. Serves his ass right. Because when you take a life and it's not under the order of the good Lord himself or the guy wearing the stripes that you're not wearing, then you have no business taking a life. No. And if it's over $5 you don't deserve to see freedom. Get a job. You want money? Bust your ass like everyone else does. I think he's getting life. I think he got life. I really don't give a shit. I don't know if I see him on the street after this video and he tries to kill me. But, you know, that ain't gonna happen. Because the doctor said that I shouldn't do Kung Fu. Not that I couldn't do Kung Fu. So for the sake of not having to deal with the military and breaking this hip again, I haven't trained in 3 years. Now, I brought that up for a reason. Like I said, I've been bullied from grade school to middle school to high school and in college. And even by law enforcement in college. More recently. The reason I'm telling you this is these are things that lead people to killing people at school. But if we don't tell our children how bad we had it as kids, how do you think they feel when they can't turn to anyone and talk to them? You're their parent. You're supposed to be the one person they can come and talk to you. And be the parent. Don't try to be your child's friend. That is not a fucking option. My dad and I had this understanding. Because my dad kept telling me, son, I'm your daddy. But I'm supposed to be your best friend. And I said, no. You're just supposed to be my daddy. What you say, I'm supposed to listen to until a certain age, and when I'm old enough to make decisions for myself, I come to you for advice. And my dad told me, you probably should have told me all the times about being bullied, and I would have tried everything I can to get you out of there. Well, some things you just have to adapt to and adjust. We have to teach our children how to adapt and adjust. This kid in Texas, he's still alive. Got turned in, no incident. Him and his sidekick or whatever went on this shooting spree because of a girl who rejected him. Dude, girls are going to reject you for a majority of your fucking life. And why is it only boys that go around shooting up other boys and stuff? There haven't been any cases of women that I know of. I could be wrong, and if y'all have a case that I can check out with a woman going around shooting up people in America in high school, let me know. Now, in other countries, there have been cases where women have disemboweled men's manhood. We've had that happen here in Virginia also with a certain woman named Lorena Bobbitt. But according to her, her husband had it coming because he was verbally and physically abusing her every day. What better way to get even with a man than to stop him from being a man? No. Is it the thing or the course of action I would recommend? Fuck no. I recommend you move out. Call the cops. Get a witness. Document your face being beat all to shit. Do something. But don't disfigure the man. Alright? Because, feminine rage don't always work in some cases. I guess it depends differently on your state. Now, we don't want to tell our kids the hardcore truth. That the world is not a safe place. We want to make the world a safer place for our children. I made a suggestion in my other video about putting cameras in every building, in every room in school. Let the parents know. Give the parents complete access, like a wristwatch or cell phone. Y'all got the technology. So if something goes wrong, immediate alert goes to the parent. Your kid's being a douche. Oh, y'all thought I meant the other way, right? When the kid is being the victim. No. See, if you don't know that your kid is a bully, you fucked up somewhere. Alright? The school has fucked up somewhere. The system has fucked up somewhere. And not all kids are bullies. Some kids are victims of bullies, which turn them into bullies. Alright? Kids get rejected. It happens. No one wanted me on their kickball team. No one. Even with all the kung fu skills in the world, That does not mean that I was good at playing kickball. Nobody wanted me on their team. Nobody wanted me on their baseball team, their basketball team, their football team, on any team sport individually. No one wanted me. I got picked on about that shit too. Oh, you part black. You should be able to play ball very well. Or whatever. Yeah, let's not go into stereotypes. That shit's not always true. It's the same thing about saying all black men got giant penises. Hello? All black men have giant penises. Enough said. Stereotype. It's a proven fact that no one really knows if penis size is genetic or biological. No one knows, and that actually means the same thing. So let me revert that. No one really knows if penis size is biologically genetic or ethnic. Alright? You got a big dick? You got a big dick. It's no big deal. Probably might be a big deal to the chick that's taking it in, but it's no big deal. Now, why did I say that? Because bullying is a big dick pissing contest. Women are bullied too. So I guess it could be considered a big boob, deep vagina pissing contest. I don't fucking know. I'm not a woman, so I really don't know how to word that for the ladies watching. But for men, most bullying is either my dick's bigger than yours or my wallet is thicker than yours. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I'm also taller than you. So what are you gonna do? You know, we don't engage in our children's mental stability. Why? I'll tell you why. I said it before in another video. Mixed pride and shame. We are ashamed to tell our kids that we've sinned. We are ashamed to tell our kids that we've done things that normal people probably wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, and by all rights of the law is illegal to do. But we don't want our kids to look at us in a bad light. I get that. But if you don't want your kids to do the same dumbass shit that you've done and gotten in trouble for it, maybe you ought to give them a fucking heads up on it. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that too vulgar? Was that too harsh for you? I swear it's what I do. I cuss every time I open up my mouth, except for in a professional setting, unless it's in the script. I made a movie once. I know, totally off traffic, but it's going to be on topic for a reason. I did just lead into it with, I swear every time I open up my fucking mouth. So I was making a movie. I made the movie. My dad watched the movie. He was pissed. It didn't matter if the movie was good, if the movie was bad, but there was so much cussing in that movie that I could have got an Oscar for most cuss words used in a film. That movie no longer exists because I can't find it, but it no longer exists. So when I made my Guardians of the Earth series, I limited everybody to 2 cuss words a scene, and the only cuss word you couldn't use was fuck. You could use damn, shit, son of a bitch. I let a motherfucker might have slid in there, but maybe only one, you know, but nothing exceptionally harsh. So damn was acceptable, go to hell was acceptable, you know, something that was more vocally acceptable. But the movie before that, when I used so many F-bombs, my dad was like, Jimmy, you can't have that in no movie, man. You got all these goddamn kids that might want to see it. Seen that? Exact words. Goddamn cuss words in it. Because I pissed him off because that thing probably had like maybe 75 people use the word fuck. Why does this have anything to do with the topic? My dad was engaging. My dad asked me things about my life. He asked me, why did we use such foul language? He asked me, can I please find a new outlet than using the word fuck? In my head, I'm thinking, fuck you, I'm grown. In my brain, I'm thinking, you know, my dad might actually be on to something. I do use the word fuck and damn maybe just a little bit too much. I actually use damn more than I use fuck because damn's more acceptable. It's also my favorite word. Damn this, damn that, damn your mama. But it's one of my words. I own my shit, you know. And the thing with that is that a lot of us, we don't engage with our children, and we don't own it. We don't own it. The first thing we think is, oh, It's not my child. My child would never go to school and bully somebody else smaller than him. It's not my child. My child will never go to school and kick somebody out of their wheelchair. It's not my child. My child will never go to school and shoot up all the people that he goes to school with because of one girl saying no. Yeah, it's your child. You know why it's your child? Because, like I said, we don't sit down and tell our kids the truth about consequences of actions. We don't whip their ass when they're wrong. Or we put them in timeout, which gives them time to make a better plan so that the next time they won't get caught. We don't get to discipline our kids because the second we do one of these, oh, it's a child abuse charge. So now I can't raise my hand on my kid. Now my kid goes out and commits genocide. And now you want to hold me responsible. I didn't pull the trigger. No one in that classroom asked to be shot. But the child that I didn't engage with decided that he was just going to go out and do what the fuck he wants because I couldn't beat his ass. I attempted to beat his ass. Y'all arrested me. So if I'm not there to straighten my child out, now he goes and does something stupid. What happens? In the very first video I made, I said that we are not engaging our children at home. We're not giving them the right influences. We're not sticking into their day to find out what's going on in their life. Because at home, you know what's going on at home. You're there with them. You might not be aware. You might not be paying attention. You might be like me and be PlayStationing the fuck out of you. Your kid says, Dad, I'm pregnant. You ain't hear that shit. That kid walk out that room. You heard that shit. You're going to go and engage in what the fuck you do. You know. Then you're going to go into, we need to handle this. And we need to have a long, hard talk with the parents of the motherfucker that got you pregnant. Was you trying to get pregnant? Because you know me, I'm going to be honest about the shit. If I live long enough to have a daughter, and if you're watching this somewhere in the future, I don't want you pregnant before you're 25. Why? Because I never got to live my life because my siblings kept getting pregnant before they were fucking 25. Except maybe 2. But I had to keep taking care of babies that I did not create into this world. Again, we are not engaging in our kids' lives. We're engaging with them at home. Okay, we cooked them dinner. How was school? It stops right there. Because the first thing is, it was okay. Nothing happened. We didn't learn anything. Oh, nothing. Oh, some guys got to fighting, blah, blah, blah. And then it just stops. The conversation fucking stops. The parent gets up and washes the dishes, cleans up, goes back to their room to get ready to go to bed for work without not one time saying, what did you do in school? And give me in grand detail a scale report. Now, 9 times out of 10, no one's going to say that. But why? Because we don't think about that shit. We remember how hard we had it in school, so we just turn a blind eye to that shit and be like, alright, fuck it. Let's go to school. If the school ain't calling me and reporting bad shit about my child, PlayStation, Xbox, Wii U, we're going to all play the game. Kids do the homework, let's get on the game. Family game night. They got a PlayStation. They have Scrabble for that. They have Jeopardy for that. Or we can watch Alex Trebek on TV, like in 2 hours and watch it. But we don't do that anymore. Because of these motherfuckers right here. We don't engage with people. This ain't about me and technology and my lack of knowledge of it or my disdain for it. Because when technology works, it's fucking great. And it works when it works. But when it doesn't work, where are we? I'm from the Stone Age. I kid you not. I have this thing for 3 medicinal purposes. To make a phone call, to make a text message, Facebook. I used to use porn on these things too, but they started catching viruses. So, like, I do not engage in porn on my cell phone. Period. Any porn on here is on the memory card. That's a necessary evil. It's the only reason why I have it. When I joined the Army, everybody in both of my platoons had cell phones. And the drill sergeants would come to me and say, Williams, you need to make a phone call home. I said, no, I don't. They know exactly where I am. I have a paper and pen and a letter. Yeah, but we're going to make somebody let you call home for 5 minutes. And I was like, but drill sergeant, I didn't come here to call home. I came here to become a soldier. Nothing more, nothing less. Home ain't going nowhere unless we get attacked. Drill sergeant still made me get on the phone. I call home. I talk for 1.5 minutes. And then I get the phone back to the guy who lent me the phone. Thank you, Nolan. That would be Pee-wee for those who don't know him. Not that I didn't thank him then, but I'm thanking him again anyway. 17-year-old kid. I was 37 years old. He insisted that I use his phone. I was not hurting for communicating with my family. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't. I miss them, but that's natural. Did I need to call them? I was 37 years old. I am a grown-ass man at 37. If I need my family, I know how to call them. I know how to write a letter. I know how to put it on a thing. I know how to engage with them. But while I'm down at Fort Benning, Georgia, before I got hurt and got fucked up, I didn't need them. I'm grown. Now, Nolan, 17, and everybody under 21 in the platoon, I get that. I was 21 once too. But I've never been that close with my family, which is why I didn't need to call them. I was close with my dad. I wrote him letters. You know, I forgot that my dad's reading ability wasn't up to speed, but I wrote him letters. I wrote everybody letters. Wrote a couple letters to my ex. They're in my pocket somewhere. I never gave them to her. She's never going to get them. Doesn't fucking matter. You know, but the fact is that I wrote them. We as people are too ashamed to tell our children the truth. We as people are too ashamed to teach kids consequences of their actions. And this is exactly what leads to this motherfucking gun violence amongst our children. Yes, I got real. Yes, I'm not breaking character. I am in who the fuck I am. When we sit here and have things like this happen, Columbine, Blacksburg, the new one in Texas, the one before that in Florida, this shit happens because we don't engage with our fucking kids. Oh, me and my kid can be in the same room and we're going to play online against each other. That's engaging, right? Wrong. That's engaging in a fucking video game. Technology, double-edged sword. I have a PlayStation 2 and 3 and 4. Waiting for the 5. Do I have money for all that shit? Hell no, but I also don't have kids. But I can communicate with the kids that play online games with me. But we're still playing games. We're not talking about what's going on in their life. What could lead a child to be the next school shooter? Because no one raises a school shooter. No one raises a school shooter. But no one thinks like that. No one thinks, hey, my kid's going to go to school tomorrow and shoot everybody the fuck up. No one thinks like that. I know y'all see them goddamn lights. No one wants to believe for New York Minute that their kid could do that. I'm going to come back with another part. I'm sorry.